So in this video, I'm gonna do a quick progress update on Ravn. So I've been building Ravn now for, it's probably a little bit more than 4 months. We are still in the beta and we just finished the Ravn seasonal leaderboard. So if we go here, scroll down, so you can see the winners here. So number 1 is Humi, and number 2 is Gripper, and then number 3 is DHY. So they all share a total combined prize pool of $100 that's going to go towards their live trading account on Ravn. So the roadmap looks like this. So we are still in the beta, and yeah, the leaderboard is done, and soon we are going to go to the early access. So now I just invited 3 users to help me out testing live trading on Ravn. So that's actually where we are now, and that's what I'm trying to get ready for early access. So ideally, and the idea here is to get Ravn ready for early access that includes live trading. And it's actually pretty exciting to see that this is the builders leaderboard. I know it's not much, but Ravn is actually on the leaderboard now. So we are number 178 on the monthly leaderboard with a total volume of $1,000. So it's not much, but I expect this to increase a lot as we go on, because we do have quite a few people interested in live trading, and the more we start to test it out, and when we go to the early access, I really expect this to increase quite much. So that's going to be interesting the coming days and weeks and months to see how far up the leaderboard we can come. So I think it's pretty realistic to maybe not beat Betmore here, but to at least come into the top 100 on the leaderboard. So the top 100 on the leaderboard, we need at least $40,000 in volume. So that's the monthly volume, and I think that is realistic. I think one user would be able to do this if they have a good trading bot trading. So if we're looking at the stats, so far we have a total of 345 registered users. So that's great to see. We have about 40 weekly active users and 140 monthly active users. The daily active users fluctuates quite a bit, but that fluctuates between 10 and 20. Of course, doing the leaderboards, we will have more users, so I expect when we come into early access that these numbers will increase. But at least it's great to see that we do have some activity, and hopefully this is gonna become better when we launch early access. A few of the new changes that I've done is I've kind of added better UI. So you can see here that now the UI UX looks quite different. It's kind of the same data, but I've enabled easier monitoring. So if you click the monitor, it's going to open up like this. So it's going to look something like this. So it's easier to quickly get a view of your trading bot instead of before where you have to go to a separate page. Now it just shows on the same page, and it's easy to go back again and switch view to a different bot. Also, the bot interface here got somewhat of a different, I mean, the structure is still the same, but it got a little bit tweaked UI and UX feel here. One of the newest improvements that I'm going to work on is fixing a very bad decision I made very early on in the project. So if you've been following on this channel, you probably know some of the architectural decisions that I've made on the way. Some have been good decisions, some have been very bad decisions, right? And one of the bad decisions is the way I'm basically storing data for each of the individual bots. So overall, for WebSocket data from Polymarket, each of the bots today, they actually store their own data in first in the database on Postgres, and then eventually it's going to be backed up to S3. And this actually causes a lot of duplicated data. Like if we have, let's say, 20 bots, which we often have, that subscribe to the same market. This could be the Bitcoin up and down market. All of these 20 bots is going to store their own market ticks. And this is unnecessary, right? Because it's the same data. So we are storing the same data 20 times. But what if we have 100 bots? What if we have 1,000 bots? Then it's all of a sudden, you know, the same data times 1,000. Another issue we had, which has been fixed, is that each of the bots would also do their own WebSocket subscriptions to Polymarket. So if you have 20 bots, each bot doing 10 connections, you know, that's 200 WebSocket connections to Polymarket from the same server. That is something that I have addressed in a past release. So that's what I showed on stream a few weeks back. So here, for example, we have one bot to before it would do 3 connections to the WebSocket. So if we have 3 connections times 73 bots, that would be 219 connections. I think that's what we had actually at that time. Now, what we have today, which is also related to how we're going to store data, is I created a shared data layer. So that's its own service on the database that then subscribes to the recurring connection. So right now I set it to 10 concurrent WebSocket connections, and then that uses Redis as sort of the event layer, and then each of the bots then subscribes to that event layer instead of each bot subscribing directly to the WebSockets. So that means that instead of having so many different WebSocket connections to Polymarket, we only have these 10 that we maintain, and then the bots then subscribe to our own data layer or event data layer. Now, the issue that I'm now working on to address is the market tick. So this is my very, very pretty explanation that I did on stream here. So we have this shared feed. That's the shared feed that we did up here now. What happens today is that each of the bots here store their own market ticks in the database. That is not good, right? And then we get it backed up to S3, and then it's deleted after 7 days. So it's such a bad user experience, because the way it is now, it's also very, very slow to load. And then if it's backed up to S3, well, then they have to load it from S3, and then, you know, it's such a bad user experience. So what I'm working on now, I'm still actively testing it, is we use a optimized database. That's something called timescale database. It's an extension to Postgres that I'm installing. And then the market text from the shared feed is just stored one time in Postgres. And then the bots load the same market text from Postgres instead of loading their own market text. So that's the way we're going to do it. And of course, the bots still have their own events, like bot events that happen, right? If they bought or sold, you know, fill events, that is stored individual, of course. It's just the market ticks. So we save a lot of bandwidth, and we save space on the database. And through these new database, it should also increase the performance, because today sometimes it takes forever to load the monitors, because it's a lot of data that has to be loaded. And so I'm doing some tweaks, some optimization. So hopefully the performance within the next few weeks should improve drastically. That's at least the idea. So there's going to be a period where we have both types of data storage in production. After maybe 7 days, I'm going to completely remove the old market text, just wipe the database of that, and then only using the Postgres timescale database. So that is the plan going forward. Another thing that I'm working on that I can also show you. So right now we have a single server, right? So that's a dedicated server currently in Finland, which is not ideal, right? So the main API layer and stuff like that will remain on that server, and simulation will also remain on the server. But what I'm working on is to enable co-location. So if you have a trading bot, you want to trade that live, and you want to have a different location than on this dedicated server in Finland, I will allow you to deploy it on, say, in AVS on Dublin. So how that's gonna work exactly, I'm not sure about yet, but that is also something that I'm actively working on as we speak. And hopefully that's also going to increase, or rather it's going to decrease the latency. Right now it's not too bad. So what I'm seeing now with the WebSocket connections is about a 20-second delay, 20 millisecond delay or latency from Polymarket's WebSocket servers to this dedicated server. In my testing, when I did the same test in AWS in Dublin, I saw 10 milliseconds latency. So during the co-location, we can save 10 milliseconds of latency approximately. It's not much, but it could be what actually makes or breaks a trading bot. So that will be a feature going forward, and hopefully we'll have that ready by the time we launch early access. So yeah, if we look back at the roadmap, maybe you remember, maybe you don't, but when I first announced the roadmap, each of these phases, I think, was like 2 weeks. And we are in beta and it's been 4 months now. So a big lesson for me is, you know, when doing a big project like this, honestly, it's been harder than expected and took longer time than expected, because we're talking about real money here, right? So we need to make sure that this just works properly. So basically, since we went to alpha, so from the closed testing to alpha, that was pretty fast because we got all the main features in. But then when having actually people using it, you get so much feedback in, like things that could be better, but also just edge cases that needs to be fixed, things that breaks, something that is just almost impossible to find while you're doing your own manual testing. A lot of that has come in during the alpha, and then even especially beta, and now we are between beta and beta and early access, where people are doing live trading, and here we are getting more stuff in as well. So things just takes a long time, and it doesn't really matter if you do coding by yourself, manually coding, or using AI agentic development. It will take a long time, and what I see myself now is spending a lot of time validating and testing features and making sure things work properly. And of course, things are still not perfect. There's still a long way to go, but hopefully within the next few weeks we can start to open up for more live trading and make sure that everybody have a good time. Another thing that also kind of made it so Ravn took so long that it did is, again, scope creep, basically. So Ravn has a lot of features and functionalities that we actually don't use today, and I was actually at the time very mindful about not doing too much scope creep. So at the time I did features that I thought would be impactful, but then when people actually start to use it, or when you start to use it yourself, you realize that actually this was not necessary, or maybe you realize this is actually harder than I expected, so let's wait with it. For example, I have a backtesting engine in Ravn that actually took quite a time to develop, and I never launched it, I never released it to people, and actually people have been asking about it. And the reason why I chose to do it is because, yeah, I think this is going to be a big feature in Ravn, and I still do believe it can be a great feature in Ravn, but the more data sources we get in and the more different features we add on to Ravn, the more complex the backtesting engine becomes. And I realized at the time that, hey, I just need to remove all the fluff and just focus on just the core simulation engine. So take out like the backtesting engine, take out like AI assistant, take out all these extra features, just only focus on the core issue that we are trying to address, and that is a solid simulation engine and then a solid live trading engine. Those two components is absolutely essential. And of course, there's been some architectural decisions along the way that I also explained in the beginning of the video, where, well, after a while realized this has been a bad decision, this has been a bad solution, let's refactor it. So, I mean, especially in the beginning, doing the closed testing here and the development closed testing, I did more refactoring than I do now. But now when I see people actually using it, for example, with the data storage, it is becoming an issue, and then I realize, hey, okay, this needs to be fixed. So that also just takes some time, right? Bad solutions that need to be addressed and refactored, that just adds extra time. So a project that I initially thought would take something like maybe 2 months now is 4 months, and it's just that's just how it is in software development, right? It's very, very difficult to stick within the time frame. So but it's all good. I think it's still a very interesting project, and there's still a lot of interest within this project, and like the prediction markets move fast. There's always something new coming along, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. And the same goes for Ravn. I'm still very confident that Ravn can be a very serious competitor within prediction markets as a tool like a layer above the prediction markets that people can use to create their automated trading strategies. So yeah, that was a little bit about Ravn, where we are now. I'm not stopping anytime soon. I'm still working on this every single day, and I'm active within Discord, mostly with the people that are actively using Ravn, because this is my main focus there. So if you're interested in trying Ravn, what you can do is you can go to this website and you can join the waitlist. Right now, access is actually open for Ravn, so you can sign up today and then participate in the beta. If you do that, we have a Discord channel, so you can join the Discord as well. Again, it's free to join community. And down here, if you can see, we have an area just for Ravn. So you have a general chat, you have a support channel, and if you have some suggestions, you can leave it in these channels here. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. All the links is down in the description below. So with that said, see you at the next video. Bye bye.